You know, he was so good last week that we've decided to bring him back on again. We allowed him to. It's Chris Sinkinson from Moorlands College. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Gareth. Thank you. I'll see if I can mess up this time.
Well, I saw you then checking that your shirt's all looking nice for the camera. You've changed. Last week, it was just a case of whatever. Now, you should see him. He's got a top hat. He's got a little cane next to his table as well. So, for those who don't know, just tell us a little bit about Moorlands College, because there isn't any clue in the title. We can just presume that it's a college, but it's more than that, isn't it?
You're absolutely right. It used to be Moorlands Bible College, so there was a clue in the title. We call ourselves Moorlands College, but the Bible is still at the heart of what we deliver, and that is we teach and train in Christian ministry. It's the heart of our delivery is a BA, a degree in applied theology, but we also offer a foundation year program for perhaps for people who are not quite confident with getting into academic work, and so that gives them some preparation. We do a master's program as well. And Gareth, what it's really all about is it's training people in theology that's actually useful for the church. You know, it's applied theology. So this isn't trying to create very academic, studious people who hide away in locked chambers reading lots of books. This is to produce people who can get out on the streets and help people in homes and hospitals and be equipped to serve.
And presumably, it's open to people who aren't Christian as well.
Well, that's an interesting question. I mean, in order to be able to do the study as applied theology, a student would need to be able to serve within a local church or ministry. So there is that kind of requirement that we don't just teach in a classroom. We don't just deliver the information. A student will also do a practical placement. So as long as they can, fulfill the requirement of a practical placement within a church or a ministry, that would be part of what it means to get a BA in theology.
So I guess the difference between applied theology and just theology is that applied means that you actually apply it, clearly.
That's right. That's right. I'm not knocking the fact that you could study theology as something in its own right. I mean, Gareth, I love reading, I love finding things out and so on, but it is a distinctive feature of Moorlands that we really do emphasize the applied theology. And I love that, because I love how the Bible is relevant to every area of life. Doesn't matter whether you're reading ancient stories from thousands of years ago, or whether you're reading about practical advice on lifestyle. The Bible has something to say about every area of life. It is applicable.
I'm a little bit disappointed that you haven't redecorated the room with, as you said, the wallpaper behind, which could symbolize a library.
I am still working on this idea. I mean, my wife said that I should just be trying to plant different books on this little shelf. We could change books that appear behind me. So
would it be brilliant if, rather than plant these big academic texts, there's the Beano Annual from 2003, and it's books that you would not imagine a lecturer to actually have in their bookshelf.
Don't look too closely at that bookshelf, okay?
Right, so it's always nice to catch up with you and to find out what's happening at Moorlands College, but we also like you to educate us and provide us with some knowledge that we wouldn't usually know. So that's why last week you selected a word, which was, let's see if you've been paying attention to yourself.
Atonement.
Oh, thank goodness for that. That'd have been embarrassing, wouldn't it? If you'd have gone, I can't remember, Gareth. But today we're going to do what, Chris?
Today's word is Torah. Torah.
T-A-R-O, is that right?
T-O-R-A-N.
Clearly, I need to sign up to a course at Moorlands College. So Torah is the word there. And what we're going to do, the same format as last week, we're going to open up the lines right now. And we want you, without cheating, because what's the point? If you just go to Google, yes, you'll find the answer. Of course you will. But have a guess at this. We won't laugh at you because, to be quite honest with you, I don't think I'll have a go at it after the next song. But we want you to have a go. Torah. What does the the word Torah mean? You can email studio@connectradio.com, or if you go to our website, you can find a link to WhatsApp, which is really easy. That comes through to us directly in the studio, and we will share our ideas of what we think the word means. And then, of course, Chris will tell us what the true word means. So, Torah, what have you got for us today? Let us know, but you've only got 2 minutes 36 on this one. So not long. Get in touch and let us know what you think the word Torah means. More new music. You know, we are good to you. That is Conrad Gray, and it's called People Watching. We did actually have that phone in a few weeks ago about people watching and the strangest sights that you've seen. I'll tell you what, incredible. We should do that again, because I reckon since the last time we did it, there'll be more sights that you've seen. This is Connect Radio, and we are joined by Chris from Moorlands College. In fact, there was a lot of love coming in for you last week, Chris. Some of your ex-students and pupils saying, what an awful guy. No, saying what a lovely guy he is. And he taught me how to actually answer those difficult questions. So, you know, you aren't only popular on the radio station, you're popular outside the radio station as well now.
Very kind, very kind.
So you put to us the challenge, really, of trying to figure out off our own back. And in fact, this is interesting because Chris said, well, actually, even if you were to Google it, you probably wouldn't get the right answer, or it would be so lengthy that you wouldn't have time to figure out anyway. So this is where I pick up my phone and I say that I'm not texting my wife saying I'll be home for breakfast. I'm looking through the messages which have come through. So let's have a look here. Lynn Rawlingson says, good morning, team. From what I remember from school, it is the Hebrew book of learning, as in our Bible. That's one. We've also got, let's look at this one here. They are still coming in. Isn't Torah the Jewish Bible? The first 5 books in the Bible, at least, but probably wrong. And then Jez says, I think it's the book of 5, Torah means, the first 5 books of the Bible. And then he says, let me find it here, is it the first 5 books in the Bible or just 5 books of the Bible? So that's just a few of them. We could have put plenty of them, but they all tend to be following that same thing of 5. Is it 5 of something? 5 books of the Bible. What have you got for us, Chris?
Well, I mean, to have that kind of answer in mind, it's not far away from where we're going to land, but it's not actually correct. So it is true that for the Jewish people, the first 5 books of the Bible can be called the Torah. They're actually, in Greek, they're called the Pentateuch. So that's Genesis through Deuteronomy. But actually, that's not the meaning of Torah. The fact they called those books Torah is for a different reason. And the word Torah, it can be described as law. Some people say it's the books of the law, or it means law. And that's also a little bit misleading. That's not really the answer. See, the trouble with law, or just saying books, is it gives the wrong impression. It makes it sound like Torah is all about rules and regulations. It's about don't do this or don't do that. When actually the root of the word itself means something like an arrow in flight, or even its earliest use is pointing a finger, and not pointing a finger in accusation, but giving direction, like saying, this is the way to go. And so the word Torah, it's a meaning of like law, but it's something much deeper, much better than that. It's a positive thing. It's not a word saying, don't do this and don't do that, lots of laws and regulations. It's a positive word, meaning this is the way to go. This is direction. This is vision. This is what your future could be like if you follow in this way, like the flight of an arrow. And that's interesting then, because, you know, for Jewish tradition, Torah is a beautifully positive word. It's Psalm 119, it's a way. It's sweeter than honey. And that word way is perhaps a neat way of thinking about the meaning of Torah. It's a way of life. That's really what the word is getting at. So when Jesus turns up in the Gospel of John, Jesus in John chapter 14, he says of himself, Jesus says, I am the way and the truth and the life. And by describing himself as the way, it really links to that word Torah. Jesus is the way. And do you know, Gareth, not a lot of people remember this, but in the book of Acts, we're actually told the earliest nickname for Christians wasn't Christian at all. They got called Christians later on. But you know, the earliest nickname for Christians in Acts chapter 9 is the way. They got nicknamed the way. And that's probably related to Jesus calling himself the way. And that in turn is because Torah is a way of life. It is a direction for living. And so the first 5 books contain Torah, and Jews could refer to them as Torah because they contain Torah. But sometimes we say that's the law, but it's a whole lot more than the law. It's positive. It includes stories and poetry, and it's a way of living that is full of life and meaning and purpose.
Do you know, I just feel like I know such little about the world. When you come on, I was there thinking, how have I lived 37 years of my life and I've never even contemplated what that word really means? And I don't know about yourselves listening to this now, but it does give you this real passion for sort of learning more and to just sort of, because the language is an incredible thing, isn't it? I mean, Torah, we had listeners getting in touch and saying what they think it means. And there's so much more to it. Torah. Well, I never. So whenever you hear that used now, you will know what it means, or maybe you can sneak it into a conversation and you'll be able to basically pass on the knowledge, I suppose. We do on a Tuesday, share the station. How about on Mondays, share the knowledge? So interesting stuff there. Torah, we now know what it means. And thank you very much, Chris. Remember, as always, if you go to their website, you can find a list of the courses to sign up to. You can find out all about the college as well. It's just moorlands.ac.uk. Thank you very much, Chris. Any clues as to what we'll have next week?
I'm still praying about that one.
Basically, Christians say that if they haven't got an answer, I'm praying into that at the moment.
Looking for the Lord's leading, you know.
He's used that once or twice, hasn't he? You can tell on those tricky questions you get asking. I'll ask the Lord about that one. Thank you very much, Chris. You have a wonderful week, and thanks for being a part of the show. And Torah, there you have it.